That was beautiful. Thank you so much. We always look forward to hearing this Christmas music. They do such a fine job every single Sunday, don't they? So today, I am talking about joyful anticipation and what that means for us. This year especially, I feel especially, just different about any Christmas I ever remember, any Advent season. I just feel especially hopeful. And that's what anticipation is, isn't it? It's hopeful. And so I feel things changing. I feel that there are a lot of us changing, and we've chosen to become our best. We've chosen to look at ourselves with some of that self-reflection and awareness that I was talking about a few minutes ago when I was reading that blog post. And we're choosing to really look at ourselves and quit blaming the world, quit blaming others and everything else going on for our happiness or lack of it, and take responsibility for our lives, changing in the ways that we need to, and moving on. And that looks different for each of us, doesn't it? Different things that we're required to do, required to be. We have a purpose. Each of us is unique. We each have a different purpose we've came to fulfill. Mine's no better than yours. I have no greater purpose than you do. You have as much effect on the world as I do. And one of the gifts that I have is that I get together with all of you on Sunday, and we get to remind ourselves of who we truly are. We're not just these bodies with our complaints, and we remind ourselves of what's really important, who we really are. We remind ourselves we have a light within us, we have a love, and that we are to share that with the world. One of the things I love about Unity Worldwide Ministries, and it's why I chose to become a minister within Unity Worldwide Ministries, is because they used to be called practical Christianity. And then as the years have unfolded and more people have embraced and accepted others around the world, and they now choose to call it positive spirituality, because, and the reason is, we don't want to leave anybody out. And I think if you're a Buddhist, I think whatever faith you have, you could come here and be comfortable with our teachings, because we're not exclusive. We're not excluding anybody. And you know what? Jesus didn't either. If you really go back and see what he said, he didn't exclude anybody either. So that's what we teach, are the teachings of the Master Jesus when he came to earth and what he taught. And I just love this. Advent is the art of holding hope gently until it becomes light. Don't you love that? That's what Advent is. And it's just really a sacred time that we can come together and we can decide we're going to become our absolute best. And we're going to contribute to the good of the world. I had this quote that I pulled out this week, The Life of Joy by Roger Teal. And Roger Teal is the senior minister at a New Thought church. I think it's the Mile High Church in Denver, Colorado. This meant a lot to me, and I think it will to you too. Quantum physics states that our individual consciousness affects everything. Studies have shown that the expectations of scientists have affected the outcomes of experiments. This observer phenomenon demonstrates that there is no such thing as a passive observer, that we each affect material structures around and within us. And what he was saying was there's no such thing as being a passive observer, thinking you're observing this and you're not affecting it. You are. Even if it's chaos, and especially chaos. You know that you can walk into a room, and if you are strong enough energy, you can change the energy of the room. You know that, don't you? You do know that. You've observed, too, that if you're in an anxious, nervous mood and fearful, you can walk into a room, and if you're feeling it strongly enough, you can change the mood of the room for the worst if they're easily led. I've never been a person that was easily led, and that's something that I'm proud of, especially with the fact that when I tell you about my upbringing and who I was, you'll say, oh no, not that shy little girl. There is no way. No way. I was the youngest of 6 children, and I've told you before that I was so shy I would not come out from behind my mother's skirts. I would always hide behind her, and I just wanted to stay home with my mother. And it was okay if my siblings were around, but that was about it. And when I had to go to kindergarten, the minute I had a sister that was a year older than me, I really looked up to her. She was in 1st grade. She was really smart and cool and wise and strong. And she was confident, too. She's just one of those confident people. She always has been. But she would walk me to school, and the minute she'd let loose of my hand, I'd start crying because I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go home. I wanted to be with my mother. And that's just the way I was, at least the first half of my kindergarten year. So when I tell you that I've never been easily affected or moved or influenced by others, you'll understand how important that is for me to say that. Because of my shyness and who I felt like I was. I just felt like I was a weak little kid. But then at some point in my life, I realized I'd always been strong. I had it all the time. I always had an inner compass that was telling me that there was a light within me. Even though I grew up in a fairly, not a poor family, but, you know, I remember, like I said earlier, going to school, and there were those that were so much better, so much smarter. They came from the smart families. They came from the well-to-do families, always looking down at families like mine. I remember that. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. Yes, it hurt. And that's why I think especially now it hurts me when I see people do it to others. Yeah, it hurt like heck, if you want to know the truth. But within me, within that little girl, was something so strong. And it was that light and that love that Jesus talked about when he said, the kingdom is within you. You can do anything I do. The light is within you. That's what he meant. And so I welcome the coming of the new knowledge, the new wisdom, the new birth in me. And that's what I'm looking forward to this Christmas too. Is this new story that's coming awake in me. And we're all becoming. While we're here on this earth, we're becoming. We're becoming stronger, better, wiser. If. There's an if, okay? If we're willing. And if we're set in our ways, we're not willing to let go of that old mindset, and by golly, I'm going to judge people by the way I was taught when I was a kid, and I'm going to criticize these young people for everything they do, and my way's the right way. And, you're probably not going to get it. I just got to tell you, you've got to be willing to look at yourself straight in the mirror. And like I said earlier, say to yourself, am I perfect? No, probably not. I got triggered a time or two this week. I don't know about you. But you know what I've learned? I pause. I pray about it. I think about it. I spend some time in the silence before I react. And I would say, if you can do that, you're becoming pretty spiritually mature. But if you're set in your ways and you're not even willing to look at a new way of doing things, you just may not get it. That's okay too. You just do the best you can. That may be your purpose in life. I don't know. I'm sorry, Marcus, I did it again. I pushed the wrong button. He'll get me back on track. These little things are dangerous. You can, if you're just pushing buttons, you may get yourself in trouble. Anticipation is like deep prayer. It's expecting the best outcome. And it's a form of affirmation. Divine order is your compass. Even when circumstances look messy, you're guided by your faith that this will come out okay. You have joyful resilience. It changes your perspective. Setbacks into sacred surprises. You might say, oh, wait, look what God has in store for me now. Doesn't the universe have a lot of confidence in me? Just look at this, what I get to practice now. And I thought I was over that situation 20 years ago. No, I get to have that revisited again. It's a way of embodying hope, not as wishful thinking, but as a certainty that Spirit is always at work now. I can hardly wait to see what Spirit has in store for me. And we say it's all for my higher good, and I am in joyful anticipation. But then you might ask me, and I'm almost ready to close here, what about disappointment? What about disappointment? We all have that, don't we? It's the honest acknowledgement of what did not unfold as hoped. It happens. Hope, faith, and trust, that's the inner assurance that with the fullness of time, understanding will come. With the fullness of time, we can say that about any event that happens. It looks horrible right now. It looks painful. It's something I never would have chosen. And then if we exercise our faith and our hope, we can say within the fullness of time, I will understand this. Spiritual understanding will come. So anticipation then is the active waiting. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not holding my breath, standing here waiting, doing nothing. I'm going about my business. It's embracing all the good I can right here in this moment. I'm not wasting this precious moment right now. because I'm worried about the future. Oh no, I have faith. I have hope that the best is coming. I did that, a couple of weeks ago. I didn't let it affect my today. Just before we had this cold snap of weather that came in, and I saw the prediction, I thought, oh, phooey. Let myself be disappointed for a moment. Then I snapped right out of it, put on my walking shoes, my walking clothes, my tank top. It was in the 70s that day and sunny. I said, I'm not going to waste today worrying about a possible gloomy future. Not going to do it. This present moment right here, I can enjoy. And then I can anticipate that even after these cold and dreary days, you know what? The sun will come again. And that's what joyful anticipation is about. It's a spiritual understanding that all will be well. And so it is. Thank you for your time.